one of our regular duties, we were just talking about it a minute ago, is to pick the games each week. We get that lovely assignment. And to me, a lot of times week one is the toughest of all because, as Chad pointed out a minute ago, you have very little data to go on other than last year's records, last year's results, and that was last year. We think we know who some of these teams are, but we're really just not even gathering first impressions yet, not until this weekend. So with that in mind, what was the hardest game for you to pick this week? Or to put it another way, what's going to be the most competitive game? What's the toss-up game?
I will say one data point that I found myself using was, okay, because this is year two of a 2-year scheduling cycle that we usually see. I was like, okay, what was the result of this game last year? And if it was 40-0 by one team, did the other team do enough to flip that? Is there evidence that they can turn that all the way around, even if it was a 2-touchdown win for one team? Does that flip-flop this year? Where was the game played last year? So I asked myself, and when you asked which one was the hardest to pick, I mean, just throw a dart. None of them were easy. I think la-vega Kennedale was an extremely difficult game to pick. Obviously, Midway, Waco High, Temple, University, all of those were tough to pick. So, throw a dart.
What do you say, DJ?
Like I was saying earlier, at some point I kind of just pick whatever team. Like
finish it up.
I get to round 2A and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. Connally-Mexia was looking a little more competitive to me this year. I think the Cadets are going to take it away. They have the best, possible recruit out of this area and Kobe Black, and they've got Kiefer Sibley, who's probably the best running back around here. Kyle Barton's up in there too, obviously, but they're playing in Mexia this year. People are going to be there. They're going to be rowdy. They're going to, root for their team. So the Black Cats definitely have a bit more of a home field advantage just in terms of atmosphere. Because you do have a lot of, guys that on Connolly's team that are probably going on the road for the first time as a varsity player. I mean, having lost some, the experience that they lost after last season. I think the Cadets are going to take it away. Just because, like I said, they've got some pretty good veterans back, but it's going to be more competitive. I know, Mexia just got a lot more experience and is coming back, a little bit tougher, and they've got a good coach. So
Mexia plays that just murderer's row of non-district. I mean, for a 3A team, obviously they used to be a 4A team. So, maybe it's not that strange, but, they play the likes of Conley and China Spring. They really, I applaud them. I don't think they necessarily mind going into the playoffs with a 3-7 record or whatever.
The old Johnny Cusa style.
Yeah. I think they will be a little bit better this year. The game that neither of one of y'all mentioned that to me was my pick in terms of just kind of a toss-up, Riesel versus Blooming Grove. So Riesel won 7 games last year. Blooming Grove won 6. Blooming Grove's in 3A. Riesel's in 2A after moving down, this last realignment. And that game, as Chad said, I do think it makes sense sometimes to look at last year's results. Last year, Blooming Grove won it fairly easily, 28-0. But I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be a lot closer game this year with Riesel being a playoff team and having that confidence. Plus, I liked the hire of adding Robert Little back, in that mix there at Riesel. The last time he was there, they won like 12 games. He's a good coach with a state championship to his credit back in the day from Chilton. So, I'm kind of on the fence on that one, and I think I'm going to take Riesel. So there you go.
I will throw another one out there for you. Troy-Whitney was hard to pick.
Yeah, Troy's got a new coach, Tommy Brashear, a guy with a lot of success. I think I'm leaning Whitney there, but But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Troy does in the first year there with Tommy Brashear.